And welcome back to Scav Talk, everyone. Today's episode, we're going to be doing our usual Tarkov news roundup for this week. Then, since Tarkov in general has been very light in the past couple of weeks, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to be talking about various games that we've been playing, games that are upcoming, namely in the Steam Summer Games Fest. Basically, it's going to be one big game jam here at Scav Talk today.
That's pretty much it. There's so much going on. I feel like there's so many random games coming out here and there that it's hard to actually keep up with all of them, And there's like little time windows for playing different alphas and releases and tests and this, that, and the other. It's actually pretty nutty, but we'll get onto that shortly. We'll start off with the Tarkov news. There really isn't anything going on this week. The broader context of everything, I'm actually about to release a video about kind of like where we're at, like the state of play, because of the Q2 situation. So we should be seeing something from BSG and Nikita this month.
Yes.
About the announcement for 1.0, and that's really going to set the scene, because on the roadmap that we looked at last time, it's got on there that there's going to be an updated roadmap come June, and then we will kind of know what's going on. So until we get that, maybe a couple of weeks, it may be next week, maybe 3 weeks time, we won't really know what's going on. I imagine they'll probably leave it towards the end of the month, because then it gives them more leeway on announcing when 1.0 is going to be, like Nikita said, or who knows, maybe they'll even delay it, but I doubt it, but we'll see. And we kind of need to figure out what they say there to work out what's coming afterwards. So that's kind of going to be it. Nikita posted, there was like one picture that went up, and it was an AI generated image of Nikita in kind of PMC style, and he's tired. He looks tired. This is it. They're in the trenches right now. BSG, they're doing their thing. They're quiet. They're just working on stuff, hacking away at the most complicated audio system known to mankind. So it's that's kind of what they're up to. So, but other than that, it's like there really isn't anything. I guess we're going to see a rotation tomorrow on the bosses. It's killer at the moment. So Interchange has been on fire this week, and then we'll see another rotation. We probably who do we need? I think Sanitar is one of the only normal bosses left that we haven't seen him rotate into, or Caban Kollontai could be one of those two as well in the streets.
Yeah.
So so it could be one of those. But I imagine it'll probably be Sanitar next, I would think. We will see. But yeah, I mean, that would actually kind of work for me, I guess. What I've been doing this week, and we'll just quickly run through. I don't want to spend too much time talking about the Kappa things. We talked about it a lot last time, about what you can do, what you can't do. I spent 2 streams trying to get kills with the M1A to do test drive number 1, and I am just physically incapable of killing anybody outside of 50 meters. Every single kill is within 50 meters. I'm still genuinely like, I got 1 kill on Woods on the first like the full stream, and the second stream in like 3 hours I didn't get a single kill outside of 50 meters. I've killed a bunch of people, but people are like literally just run at me constantly, and I'm like, please! I'm like desperately running away, trying not to die, like getting outside of the 60 meters radius. But like everybody just wants to bum rush you. Even with SVDs and things, it's just like, can we just have a sniping battle for once, please? So I'm still at 2 out of 5, and I think after that session already, I'm like, yeah, no, like we're not going to do this. I don't, there's like 6 parts of this to go. I'm still going to do like lighthouse kills. I got bolty kills to do. Just like ground zero, it's like 5 headshots. So apparently every single person in the entire universe on ground zero, like who's on ground zero other than doing shootable in heaven? So it's just horrible sniper battles with nobody moving, and just it sounds like it does actually sound like a complete waste of time. So long story short, I think I'm basically done with it already after 2 sessions of using the M1A. I'm like, no, I think that's it. I was like, we're going to keep going with this until I stop finding it fun, and we're there already. So I think that's the Kappa dream over for this wipe. I guess the only other thing to think about is next wipe. If I was more inclined going, okay, actually it wasn't actually that hard to get to where I got to this wipe without really even paying attention to it. What could you do at the beginning of the wipe? You can race to shootable in heaven, and you can get the bolty kills done before you leave level 20 ground zero. So that actually does help for a start. And also focusing on some of those quests like test drive and whatnot earlier rather than later, which certainly would help. So I'll think about it, for the next time. And I think this is the thing. If you don't decide to do it early, unless you do play a lot of hours, it's very tough to actually get that if you do just suddenly decide like, oh, I'm going to do it, in month 5 of the wipe or whatever, because the servers just there's less population there. There's less Timmies. The people who are on the map, they know how to move around, so they're not just going to get shot. That's kind of the thing, right? It's like it's easy. It's one of those things. It's easy to do the earlier you do it. It's like a lot of things in EFT, right? It's like if you rush through and get set up early, it's 10 times easier when you've got Timmies wandering around with level 3 and level 4 armor. You can shotgun people no problem.
Packers
if you race ahead in level, and Packers and stuff, and they just get completely destroyed by Flechette and anything, or even Piranha, honestly. But you try and do it later on, and everyone's wearing like at least a Corund, and have got full auto guns that are just going to murder you in 2 hits and stuff. It just makes it so much harder. So I think that's the thing. It's like if you really want to go for it, and you're not someone who's playing 7-hour sessions, 6-hour sessions, 4 or 5 days a week kind of thing, you kind of got your work cut out. So anyway, I've kind of revisited all the way back onto my usual turf, which is people popping into my chat, and there's actually a surprising number of people coming in being like, hey, I haven't played Tarkov in a couple of years, like what's new? Or like, oh look, that's so cool, that you can now sell items while you're in the queue, and like all this kind of stuff. There's like quite a few people who are returning, like EOD people who've like moved away and come back, because I think a lot of people have seen the sort of 1.0 is coming this year kind of thing, and they've gone like, oh okay, and then sort of maybe I remember we had a good time on Tarkov, let's see what's happened, and there's there's some new expansions, and there's like some new maps, there's a load of new guns, and there's an RPG, like this is neat, it's like all of this stuff there, and the BTR, and there's like quite a few surprising mechanics if you've not played for like 3 years.
Oh yeah.
There's actually quite a lot of stuff to come back to, and some people were almost like having a shock, like coming back and being like, man, there's like I actually need to catch up on loads of stuff has changed. It's like really quite different, and in good ways too, with all the quality of life stuff. So I've been looking at Tarkov's cheapest guns that are actually good. And it's sort of it's a hard thing to do, because you got to kind of like, I'm always trying to think like, okay, who is this useful for? People who are max traders don't really need it. People who are just starting the game, it's kind of too complicated for them, right? So it's like people who have some experience, or playing casually, or like jumping in, or like have played like a bit of the wipe, or want to come back and get some experience before the end of the wipe, but they don't want to just get smashed on whatever. I've had quite a few people just being like, I'm like working through. It's typically people who are like level 20 to level 30 who hop into my stream and are like, yo, dude, I'm having a good time, but I started late. I'm getting blasted by people. Like, what do you think I should do? And it's always an interesting conversation, because it's like, okay, exactly what level are you? Like, which traders you have, this kind of thing. And so I'm like building something at the moment which is around that. And normally the easiest way, and this is usually where you get a lot of people from chat like popping in as well, being like, oh, this is good and that is good, and looking at the flea market section of which ammo can you actually access without having to do all the quests and stuff. It's always an interesting one. And I do think there's one that I had not really used much. I'm not much of an SKS person usually, but there's quite a few people who were proposing the weapons parts barter on mechanics, the level 2 mechanic weapons parts one. It's like 3 weapons parts, and you get the UAS SKS, and it starts with like 70 recoil or something. But because it only costs like 30k for the base gun, you don't need to mod it at all. I mean, you can add a suppressor if you want to, which is like 30 grand, and then you put a scope on it. But then you can use 7.62 PP from the flea. It's like, oh man, okay, this thing's like actually pretty good. Like you can headshot people through class 4 helmets. Like if they're wearing a ULAC, they still die. Like, it's actually pretty decent. So that's definitely one that's kind of come up top of the list. Do you ever use this? Like, have you been an SKS main at any point in the Tarkov?
I wouldn't say a
cycle?
main. I mean, I used it a little bit. You remember? I don't think it was this swipe, but like last swipe, when it got like kind of. It was kind of like the weapon of the month or week or whatever, where like couple people, couple big creators like maybe Landmark and a few others were just like going on about the SKS, and it was like zero recoil. I think actually they nerfed it a bit after, like in one of the subsequent patches. But anyways, yeah, I mean it's never really been something that I've like was very fond of,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's fine and good and all, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those funny ones, really, because it's not one that I've really made, but every time I have used it in the past, admittedly, normally with BP, and it like really, it holds up, especially given the low recoil. I think that build is actually a little bit busted. I don't know why it's so low. Like you can get that thing if you just go if you just say, oh, I'm just going to go like, I'm going to go loud or whatever, because I quite like going loud. It's fun. If you go loud with that thing, you get that thing to like 56 recoil on semi, which is pretty crazy. It's like that nice middle ground of, it's certainly it's usable with the recoil for sure. Like it's definitely quite easy to use, and then the ammo is also quite good, and you can get the ammo at level 15. You don't need to level the traders. It's like technically a level 4 trader ammo, but it's like, here, have it level 15, and it doesn't cost that much more than if you're buying it off the trader, because of the way that flipping works these days. So it's certainly kind of an interesting like cross section of kind of the best of stuff. Obviously, you don't get full auto, so that's like the one thing.
You don't get full auto. The other part I find is like the mags are really expensive. Like even just the 20 rounder mags are like fairly expensive from what I recall, anyways.
Yeah, they're like, I think they were like $80, so they ended up being about like 13K each.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of thing, which is, it's not actually it's not that great. There's I was looking at it this morning, and there's now that the chainlets are quite cheap, the chainlet barter is like 8,000. So yeah, it's a bit less, but it's
that's still a lot better than, I mean, that's almost half off, almost.
Yeah, I mean, if you're buying lots of these things, then yeah, it makes a difference. But
yeah, and like you can get the 35 rounder, but that's like, kind of extra.
That's a bit overkill, I think.
And and then it's like the other part I don't like is the reload on it. Just feels like it takes so long to reload the thing. Like even with the mag, like the animation is just really long because you gotta like, I think he's gotta like, your character's gotta like pull back the chamber, detach the magazine. It's not just like a smooth detach. It's like a clank clank. Got it. And then you gotta snap it in. And it's just kind of a long thing. I don't know. It's always just kind of been in a weird spot for me where like I haven't really just, it hasn't really spoken to me in that way. It's like I almost would rather just use a naked SKS than like a really fancy SKS.
I kind of know what you mean. I sort of know. I think that's the thing about this though. It's so cheap. Like the weapons parts these days are, I don't know, how much are they trading for right now? Like, they're like 15 at the moment, but yeah, they were about 12 earlier, and you can craft them as well. You can make weapons parts for 12,500 or something. So, the backstop is like 36K, which for the modded gun is pretty good. It's like it's pretty good to get that straight up. So that was definitely one that was kind of like popped out to me, which is quite good. I mean, there's an alternative because somebody was asking about assault rifles. And I'm just like, yeah, you can still go. You can go down the same caliber route. You can go for the AK-104, which is one that just sort of slips through the threshold or sort of slips through the gap, and people just forget it exists. People either go for the AKM series or they go for the 103, but they forget about the 104. It seems like someone's cleared them all out for some reason. But earlier, like I've seen AK-104s go down to like 20K on the flea market. They're like dirt cheap. You get a bit more ergo than the 103, and they're easy to mod. I mean, you have to spend a bit on them. That's only the issue. So you have to spend a little bit on them, and you're not just going to get one from a barter or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty good. And then what else was on my special list? Where have I put it? Oh yeah, it was over here. Obviously, you've got things like the MP153. It's like, a classic because it's just cheap. You can do a keys barter thing for it. Like put Flechette and Piranha in it. If you're point blank, you'll even take down people who've got class 5. I was like looking again at the UMP because again, it was like looking through the different ammos, right? It's just like what's actually good that you can buy from the flea market. You can buy LPS for the 54R guns because I was thinking about the SVT, but it's actually a bit pricey. Like there's not that many. I'm surprised there's like not that many of them on the flea market. I guess because people don't really use them. Sort of the weird irony of Tarkov's like flea market system at this point, because of the way that flipping works and selling PMC gear, the gear that gets used the most actually ends up having the most supply, right? So like if you look up like a Voodoo, for example, like so many people use the Voodoo, so there's millions of them on the flea market because people are doing the barter and then people are dying and then people are putting them back up on the flea. Which is kind of funny, but like no one really uses the SVT, so no one's picking up the SVT because no one's buying the SVT from the trader. So it ends up it's like 62K from Prapor, and there's like one other on the flea market, and that's it. So it's actually kind of funny how that ends up working. So it's sort of difficult, and the SVD itself is like 90K, so it's actually pretty expensive. It's quite hard to use the LPS or T46M in anything other than the MP18, which is because it's like 14k or something. You can just like take it with you if you want to do shoot born in heaven. Just like have 5 rounds of like LPS, just have it with you, and just if you get into a good opportunity, just like you got your break action gun. It's the only good one there. Outside of that, I mean, you've got 45 AP, which I really like. I do really like 45 AP because it's not that expensive, and so that kind of led me to look at the UMP again. Sometimes the I've used the UMP unironically, just wandering about, like combining it with Bolter usually. I think last time I was on Lighthouse and ended up just the Bolter actually just stayed on my back the whole time. I ended up just like fighting loads of people with UMP because like slow fire rates, the ammo ends up being quite conserved, but it's one of the few SMG rounds because it only because it does like 60 something damage. How much damage does it do? I've got it on the list here. Yeah, 66. It's one of the few where if you hit the helmet, it pens, it just kills them because the damage reduction doesn't save you. So it's like, actually pretty nice. And for that reason, I think in terms of pistols, basically anything using that round is good. Like the M1911 equivalents as well, they're actually all right as pistols because you want the headshot to count. You know, if you hit them in the head, you want them to die.
Yeah.
So it's annoying if you're using SS190 or something. They've got a new lack on, and it pens, but they'll get left on like 3 HP. It's like that kind of sucks. Same thing with the 9mm pistols. Like PvP is on the list, but it's like mega expensive, and because the damage got reduced to 44, it's just not high enough. Like I don't know. I still don't know why that got nerfed. Honestly, I still think that was an overreaction. But then yeah, somebody's pointed out in chat, Kuden, which is the ultimate, the final ultimate one, which is the RFB still, which I think I probably mentioned it previously, because the barter is just like absolutely bonkers these days. It's completely insane. Like it's supposed to be 45k.
Yeah.
The gas analyzers, are 20k, and then the CPU fans that you can barter for gas analyzers are like this. I've just bought one for like 1,500 rubles, so you can buy the RFB for like 8k. Which is insane.
But I mean,
so like early people, I think they forget, right? Like people don't end up using it, and then they're like using other guns, and then they go, "Oh, what's really cheap? Oh, this thing. Oh no, but I actually have access to all these other guns, so now I don't need to use it anymore." So like you have to be at the right place in the progression for it to make sense. Otherwise, you may as well just use an SR25, right?
I mean, the only thing I would say is the ammo situation is going to be a little different nowadays because it's like I don't know, but I mean, like, isn't BCP FMJ just fine nowadays too? I mean,
it's better.
I know that's the thing, right?
Because it got buffed. It's 37 pen.
I mean, so I guess, yeah. It's 37. That's up there with 6A1. So like,
yeah, it's good. I mean, it's not a guaranteed headshot.
Yeah, it's not M80. God, I remember the days where you just to get M80 level 2. Was it level 2 Peacekeeper?
It was level 2, yes. So
you
get the RFB,
so
level
busted.
2 skier for cash, and then level 2 Peacekeeper, you get M80, and it was just insane. It was like the early game weapon.
Yeah. So good. But yeah.
It's kind of insane.
It's still good, though. Even now, it's still good.
Yeah, and I think it's better than people give it credit for at this point. Like, I haven't used it in all seriousness for ages, just because...
Well, it feels like there's a lot more choice
BCP,
now.
FMJ... Yeah, there's a lot more choice. B, you go through that progression gap quite quickly if you're, experienced or whatever. And BCP FMJ, when I was going through this process before, hadn't been buffed yet. I don't think. And so it was like, by the time they buffed it, I was like, oh, this gun's gonna be quite good now, but we're kind of past it already. Is sort of the problem. Like, we've also got to remember the RFB, and I've sort of forgotten that this was the case. It has a mount as well, the quad rail 3-inch mount that they added. So you can add a laser to the front of the RFB now, so you can point fire people with the RFB. Whereas that was one of its big downsides before.
Yeah.
The only way to get it was to do like the crazy scope mount with the laser rangefinder, and then you swap it to the laser mode, and you have that on, and then you get the point fire bonus. Like it was mental. Whereas now you're like, oh, I can put, I could put whatever on. I could put an X400 or a Balder or a WMX or whatever, or like a big boy flashlight or something on the front to shine away at my enemies, that kind of thing. So there's actually a lot more options on the RFB now. So it's it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I was thinking like, man, yeah, maybe I should have a look at this gun again because it's actually kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, at this point, it's pointless because if you've got SR25 and RSAS and G28 and all these other guns, you're like, well, I don't need to use I've only got so much time. Like the money, the budgetness of it is actually not an issue. It's like I only have so many raids to play, so I may as well play with the good stuff. But they are definitely on the way up. I think it's pretty decent. I certainly think it's pretty decent. Yeah, there was a couple of others I was looking at, but that was those are the ones that were mainly on the list. I'm going to do like a full breakdown for people and show them a bunch of stuff. Things like how you reload the because the SKS is good for this as well, right? How to reload the SKS without like ejecting the bullet. When you swap the thing, you take it out of your hands and you reload it manually outside, so you don't have the animation. It's like the same thing with the LMGs. How you can put the gun away and then just right click reload, and then or right click in. I can't remember what was the button again for the box mags for like the PKM and the M60. I can't remember, but you can just like reload the box mag instantaneously and then swap back. So you just have the gun leaving your hands animation.
Yeah.
You do it in the menu and then you swap it back again. It's like circumvents this 12-second in goes the chain, like pop it. I was like, oh my god.
I think my favorite
it's kind of cool
version of that it was when the revolver first came out and people were like having revolvers in their rig, I think. So you have one in your rig and one in your secondary, and then when you could do it any other way, but you could just God, I guess they had to switch to the knife, but yeah, you could do a similar thing. Just drag the, but you had to drag each individual.
I think it's to do each one, right?
Yeah, yeah. But it was faster than just
you're just like speed reload in the inventory.
Yeah.
So funny. So funny. So I mean that's basically what I've been up to on the EFT side. So, just been looking at this stuff, trying to help people out, and speculating about what's coming next. Because it could be a while, right? Like if we don't get the wipe until September or something, which looks kind of likely. I mean, I kind of hope that they wipe in August to give us a short wipe and then do 1.0 in December just to give us something to do. Because they leave us hanging until September, October, whatever. That's going to be like, oh my god, 8 months in. It's like, oh no, this is just going to take forever. I guess it's prestige, but just oh god, getting the cappiness of it all. It's just so bad. It's just so bad. Anyway, we'll see. We should be getting some. There are some events coming. There's some events in July and August. So
nice.
Maybe we just have to survive through this period and figure out what's next. So let's talk about. So the thing is, there's loads of stuff coming out at the moment. So we'll go into that in a moment. The other kind of bigger topic that's not just whizzing through lots of other little games is Greyzone. I'm still playing as much Greyzone as I am EFT at the moment, actually, and sort of progressing through. It is a lot quicker than Tarkov to progress, which is sort of the topic for this segment, which fundamentally is, is Greyzone too easy now? Which is kind of a thing that came up on social media. So to put it in context, the questing, I don't think they've added that many more quests. They've reworked some of the old quests so that they work with the new flow, because the old ones, you had to go and do the thing and then fly back to base, grab the new one, go out, fly back to base, right? So they've had to rework those for the new flow so that you can A, hand them in when you're out in the raid, and B, that it gives you then the next part. So they kind of leapfrog sequentially from one piece to the next in a sort of sensible fashion. But because of this, roughly the same number of quests are in the game as they were before. And because you don't spend as much time basically dicking about, you can crack through the quest a lot more quickly than you could before. Now, I think that this is a good thing, because we were talking about this just a little bit before the cast started, but my thoughts on it is that now the game respects your time, because people talk about respecting your time a lot with EFT and the game not respecting your time, etc. And Greyzone was kind of in that camp as well. Games don't really respect your time. You load in, you have to fly out to where you're going to go. If you die, you have to fly all the way back again, and then all the way back when you complete it. Whereas now it does respect your time. You go and complete the thing, and then you message the base, and then you pick up the next quest, and it feels. I've said on stream a few times, it feels a little bit more like the way that single player quest lines work in stuff like The Witcher or those kind of games, because it feels like more organically you're moving from one thing to the next. And Greyzone is not a pure PvP game. It's very much PvE. It's much more PvE than Tarkov is, right? You can go through a whole base of enemies and it's challenging because the AI, AI is its own thing, right? And some people hate it, some people say it's getting better. Yeah, but AI is always controversial in every game. But you can go through a full base and just be fighting AI, and it's challenging for one reason or another without ever meeting any other players. Whereas like Tarkov's not really like that, like if the map didn't have any other than the bosses, if the map didn't have any other players on it, it wouldn't be as compelling, right? Like Tarkov is a lot more intense in experience. Grey Zone's a bit more open. There's a lot more kind of like highs and lows. It sort of is a little bit more like DayZ pacing, I would say. Like Tarkov's like very intense right from the word go in the raid, and obviously there's ebbs and flows within that too.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of times on Grey Zone where it's like you go to certain areas because it feels much more self-directed. You're like going to certain places. It's very unlikely you're going to meet another player. So you're kind of like, okay, I'm actually like kind of chilling this bit, and then you go towards the hotspot. Okay, now that the ante's kind of going up, the stakes are going up. Like even if it's AI, I'm still, it's quite hard because the AI in Grey Zone is, I would argue, probably harder than in Tarkov, right, for the basic scavs, because it feels a bit like you're playing against Raider AI like all the time. So you have to be like much more careful, which kind of counterbalances the fact there's not always players there. Anyway, long story short, the game does actually respect your time a lot more than it did, but that means that people are able to crack through the quests a lot more quickly than they were before. People, I can't remember how long it used to take. But for example, they gave an example of the starter town previously. It used to take 5 to 6 hours to complete the starter town. Now people average the starter town in about 2, just under, like 1 hour 45 or something. So that's like, it's like a 60% decrease, in time. And that sort of applies for everything because you're just not flying around in the chopper aimlessly for half of your game time, which is one huge criticism people had before. So this came to a particular post that was put up by Martonic on Twitter, who basically said, I think Madfinger made Grey Zone Warfare too easy. After just 8 days of playing, I completed the final task, Terminal Initiative. With so many tasks available and the ability to accept and complete them in the field, progression feels too fast. I strongly suggest locking task interactions to forward operating bases or combat outposts to slow progression and increase the challenge. Please consider this change. And this got picked up by quite a few people. I think it probably went a bit further than he was expecting. Got picked up by Big Fry, who basically said, like, brother, let me see your hours played in the last 2 weeks. Guarantee you put more hours in than 99% of players. And also Matonic like knows the game really well, right? He's like played the game multiple times through before in point 1 and point 2. He's like one of the mains of Grey Zone. Which, despite me checking it out every wipe or whatever, like I'm not a Grey Zone main, right? Like I have never completed that final mission. I check it out to see what's new, but I'm not necessarily intending on completing everything the game has to offer every time. I'm there for the general experience, although I may well do this time, actually. That being said. Yeah, it was interesting, actually, because I was intrigued after Big Fry's post, and I went onto Martonic's Twitch page, because he actually had day 1 through to day 8 on Twitch, and I copy-pasted the page into ChatGPT and said, can you add up the hours in the top left corner of each of these things? Because I've been using AI a little bit more, and just for like random stuff like that, it's actually very, very handy. You just like paste in the pictures. You say, what did I say? In the top left of each small thumbnail is the time the stream is running for. Please add them together, show you're working, so I can see that it's done it right, to get a total number of hours live. And yeah, it did do it because it's much quicker for me to check the amounts that it's like picked up the right amounts than it is for me to actually just like do it myself in Excel or whatever. And so the final total of all the hours Martonic had streamed up until that point was 58 hours and 30 minutes.
Okay.
And
that's the entire quest line of the whole game. Start to finish.
Yeah, if you know what you're doing as well, partly.
Yeah.
Which is fine. So, but it's interesting because it sort of frames the conversation. And there's some other people as well. I can't remember who it was, but some other people have also posted. Just finished the final quest in Grey Zone Warfare. It took me approximately 50 hours to do the thing. So it seems like people who are experienced and have played the game before know where the quests are and stuff, like broadly know how to complete them.
Okay.
Can get it done in about 50 hours. I think it probably would, if you're starting completely from scratch, it would obviously take a lot longer than that.
Right.
You've got to get used to all the mechanics and like where to go and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I had played 50 hours of Grey Zone before 0.3. I've now played 76. So I've put 26 hours into this wipe. I did 10 on the test server as well, but that obviously doesn't count because the progression didn't cross over. And I am level... It depends which trader. I'm like level 3 traders with 2 of them. I'm level 2 traders with 2 of them. I'm level 1 with one of the final ones. And then I haven't unlocked the last trader. So that's kind of where I am. I'm sort of like probably halfway through. Roughly.
Yeah.
and I think I'm level 17 or something. And I think once you've got all the stuff unlocked, I think you're sort of mid-20s, or like once you're level 30, I think you basically have everything unlocked, I believe,
Okay.
from what I've seen in other people talking about it. So it's an interesting thing, right? It's like the conversation. Lots of people chipping in with their views on this, and like games shouldn't be designed around the people who can like rush through the game and play 56 hours in 8 days or whatever. But it's an interesting discussion because we've kind of seen this before in the Tarkov world, right? We're like, so we've seen this previously. It's the reason why we have Kappa. It's the reason why we have Prestige. It's the reason why there's like all these like random endgame tasks in Tarkov to kind of appease the Chads, who are like an important part of the community. But at the end of the day, they're like 0.1% of the people who play the game as well. And like most people are just going to plod their way through the game, and probably not even get to the final missions. Most of the time. But in 50 hours is actually not that bad. So maybe this time people will do. I don't know. Like the game's definitely so much more playable. I can see myself getting to 50 hours and finishing all the stuff this time because I am actually still enjoying it, still enjoying playing it at the moment. But yeah, no, it's just an interesting one. It's like I find that the no shade to Martonic at all, but I find the suggestion of being like, rather than being able to hand in the task like in raid, forcing people to go back to the cop to like hand in the task. So they then have to like go back and forth. Like, I just think that that's really short-sighted. I think that you need just like other mechanics or more. What's the benefit? You're just like, oh, let's just waste people's time a bit more again. So it's like we went from a super time-wasting system to something that's really streamlined and feels great to play. But it's like, oh, now it's too quick. So now we need to just like add in some filler to like waste people's time again. It's like, no, that's not the answer. The answer is to have like more content or make stuff like more complicated or make the systems more complicated to unlock the stuff. So that like in EFT, there's like things locked behind endgame tasks in particular. Because like Grey Zone, for example, doesn't have barters. There aren't items that you need to barter for anything with. There aren't any like items unlocked via a quest, for example. I mean, Tarkov never used to have this either. But Grey Zone doesn't have this too. So you can imagine it's like, oh, if there's this endgame gun that you can only find in raid, but if you go and complete this like crazy mission, then like you can get access to it. That's like how Tarkov does it, right? It's like, how do you get the Sacco? Whatever, you have to be a complete psycho and like kill 50 people with a thermal scope at nighttime and with a bolty, and it's just like bonkers stuff like this. So it like gives people something to do if they want to get like some end game, so the CQCM mask with Lightkeeper or whatever. And Grey Zone's, they're going to have to answer this question at some point. It's still early, so it's not finished at all. So it's fine to be at this point right now. But the question's going to be asked again, and I think that it's important for people to be thinking about, okay, well, what do you do at the end? If the game loop is not, I mean, maybe the game loop itself will be enough eventually. I don't know. And we've also got all the Ground Zero stuff in the middle too, so it's hard to know like what's coming. I'd be interested actually to see like more from them about like which way they want to go. That's kind of what I want to hear from Madfinger next. Like, what do they actually want based on the feedback? Like, what their thoughts? I'd love to hear what they're talking about in the office.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard because of like Grey Zone and partly Tarkov. A lot of it's under wraps as far as like the content within the game of itself. Like we know what we currently have. We know some things are upcoming, but we don't even have details of what's upcoming. And I think part of the issue is there's a little bit of like player education that has to be done, because like when I came to Tarkov, coming from like survival games, I had certain expectations that don't really transcribe well into Tarkov's design, because it's more of like the content has to be provided by the developers. You know what I mean? They've done things to like change that a bit, like adding Void, for example. That's like one of the tools you can use as players to like create your own content. You know what I mean? Like within Rust, I'll just use Rust as an example, but you could really say any of these like usually open world survival games. They sort of like will have updates. Like they have in Rust, they have a jungle update, so there's a new jungle biome, and there's like new jungle themed stuff. Like you can make a what is it called? Like an animal head mounted on your wall type of thing in your base. Just like all these little things. But one thing they have is like blow darts. and so you have to like kill a snake and then extract the venom from it, and then you can make a poison dart. And when it when they get hit by it, their screen just goes black for like a couple of seconds. So there's just like all these like, trolley things you can do. You can like climb up on the trees. Anyways, the point being is like it's a lot different than like if they were to come up with a jungle update and be like, okay, there's a jungle update. Here's the list of quests you got to go through to reveal the secrets within the jungle. Who really were the Aztecs? Were they perhaps aliens? It's different than sort of just like having a bunch of things dropped in place that are just like there for you to interact with. So
Yeah.
it took me some time to like understand that with Tarkov because I was really like, after the first like year, I'm just like, where's my content? I've like PvP'd out so much. Because I really didn't have any interest in doing a lot of the quests back then. I mean, I don't even I guess Kappa was a thing. I just had zero interest. Um, but yeah, so like that's been Tarkov's kind of solution, and maybe Greyzone will do a similar thing. But like, I that's kind of my question is like one to the developer, like what's the goal? Because like if the complaint is the game's too easy, it's like I've always kind of seen Greyzone as like you can get a very particular extraction to your package, and it's like Tarkov just has a lot of tedium to it, and for me
Mm.
this in part removes some of the tedium out of like the difficulty grinding aspect. Because like if Tarkov, it's like you
Yeah.
go into a raid and you gotta do like some really annoying task like kill 5 PMCs with an M1A beyond 60 meters with a particular scope, you know. Uh, something like that. It's like you know what I mean. It's like you can just have a rough time with like the direct PvP side. And for me, I kind of saw Gray Zone as like here's like a lighter version of like PvP. Like there's still PvP, but it's not like you know what I mean? It's like going to be more story focused. You just go here, grab the package, bring it back, and then, obviously the complaint for me was like, why are we flying helicopters back and forth for 20%? I'm like, I would much rather just have a loading screen. But
Yeah.
they've addressed that, which is like great because like, yeah, this really did not add anything to the gameplay. Like, I mean, I guess +1 for immersion, but like it's such a gimmicky thing. Anyways, I don't want to harp on that too much. The point I'm trying to make is it's like what's the goal for developers? Because I feel like the goal is like you're gonna have this story in the center, and then as like a secondary goal, you're gonna have all the factions interacting with each other, and that's like the hook there. But they have to like dev that out, and I just don't think like for me it's just like the value you're just not gonna get like you can add stuff for like those type of people, sure, but like do not affect the average gamer's gameplay because I do not like I could see the argument being made like, oh, you have to now mainly go back and turn it in, and the reason for that is because we want PvP to happen more often. And it's like, okay, I understand what you're saying, but like there's got to be other ways you can get that same goal without
Mm.
having to like add an arbitrary time requirement. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it just yeah, because I just feel like
Yeah. No, I agree.
the core thing there is going to be like here's this milsim thing with like this very you know storyline that's not like crazy difficult. You can team up with a bunch of people. You got like factions. I mean, obviously you got PVE on servers as well, but like I don't know. I just kind of always saw Gray Zone as like a little bit of a lighter version of what Tarkov does. Because Tarkov is just like, yep, here's the quest. It sucks. Get good. Like that's just like it every time. Every time.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I think. because the quest design is a bit better. It's still like look upable. You can just look on the wiki for this stuff, and some of them
Mhm.
are a bit annoying where they're like a bit too generic. But normally it gives you enough information. It either gives you like a picture or whatever. You feel, and you're sort of like, because you go through these in steps as well. On some of them, so I mean, some are better than others, but on a lot of them, I found I'm kind of like I kind of want to try this myself because I sort of feel like you can be more immersed in the world if you're actually looking for the thing and you're like paying attention to the details. Like I went into had this there was a UN kind of lab, like UN LRA lab somewhere, and I was like looking for stuff over there, and open this one fridge, and there's like a weird like petri dish type thing with this like
Hmm.
sort of alien looking like growth coming out. I was just like,
That's not
like what the
good.
hell is this? It's like it wasn't interactable. Somebody in chat told me like, oh, apparently that's like a quest later. You have to like go and like pick this up or take a sample or something. And I was just like, but like just looking around and being like, oh, what is this thing? There's like weird stuff. Because there's some people are starting to make lore videos as well about the game, and there's definitely like weird things going on. Because I didn't realize you can venture into the radiation zone a bit more now. Apparently, people are saying there's like some patrols. I've not been there myself, but there's like some like end game patrols, like end game loot in the like radiation zone. So if you go there with the anti-radiation pills, you can actually go in the first layer around ground zero and not just die. Because I think it used to just kill you before when I played in like 0.1, but now there's a few things over there. But yeah, some people reported there's like weird stuff. Remember, like I think Rilo saw like one weird thing over there like ages and ages and ages ago. But now when you're in the forest, there's like weird noises and stuff. You're like just in the forest and you just hear like "Quack, like next to you. You're like,
Oh,
yeah, like what was that? And then there was somebody else who posted the other day that they're just like sat in the field. They're like they're calling their chopper, and you just hear hey in their like right ear, and there was like, and there's like they literally like turn because it's someone streaming, right? They're like turn, they're like crap. There's like nobody there, like in game or like in real life. They're just like Jesus, like this is so creepy. So there's definitely some stuff going on, and I think if you kind of like lean in a little bit now that you're not like messing about so much with choppers, it doesn't feel so artificial. So you can kind of get a bit more immersed, because I think the choppers thing was really immersion breaking before, and Tarkov's
hmm.
quest design is like so obtuse that you just like don't want to read it. It's just pointless. You're like half the time you at best you get misled. You know, it's kind of how Tarkov's quest design works.
Yeah.
But in Grey Zone, it's like, well, usually they're kind of like stepwise. It's like, well, go here, and they give it's by the port. It's like, okay, well, I know I need to check the boats. There's only so many of them, like I know it's going to be there somewhere. And occasionally I get frustrated and look something up, but the rest of the time it's like, oh, I actually feel like kind of immersed in the world, and I'm going from one step to the next, and there's not really any natural break, and I get the next mission, and the dialogue's written like quite well. So I quite like that, and hopefully they continue doing. Hopefully, continue to do that. I would also say though, as I'm progressing further through, I'm now on to those kind of hotspot quests that are sort of in those intermediate areas. And the like the random PvP has started to develop into something actually pretty cool, because like a lot of people are onto those missions now. So you're like running into other factions quite often and like working with random people on your team who are also there. And there's quite like, I mean, there's a lot of messaging. If you just like fly in to one of the nearby LZs, people will just like spontaneously message you and just be like, two dudes just landed at the other one, or there's two guys coming towards you right now. Like people will message you even if you're not squatted up, just as a random solo. And I think there's a proper like team dynamic that's being developed through the community, which is very, very cool. And or people like message you, but like, I've just got into a fight, I've killed one guy, I'm going back for meds, watch out, there's still another dude. And even because of the way that the cops are as well, like the cops around the main base are pretty safe. You're hardly going to get attacked by the PMCs, but because you're incentivized to have them because they're your respawn point, people are going to take them before they do their mission, because it's annoying, right? If you die, then you have to fly back in if you don't have the cops. So people end up fighting at the cops. And I've had 2 fights now in literally in the last like day, where I've gone and done a mission, gone back to the cops, like drop stuff off, and I'm just like looking through my tasks or inventory or whatever it might be. But you're not safe there, right? It's like out in the field. It's one of the ones that we've captured. And then all the AI will suddenly be like, enemy spotted, and then they all like get into, and I'm just like, oh god, and then a grenade goes off, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, they like end up like grenading them back. But because you're like defending the cop, and because they are like PMC AI, if you're making noise, like if you run about, the AI now will talk to each other to tell each other what's happening, and it actually tells you what's happening. So
I
I was
like
like
that.
fighting this one guy, and they're just like enemies retreating, enemies moving right, enemies moving right. So you can kind of like hear your own AI and defend the cop. Like, so I've defended 2 of these cops like this, and it's quite intense. But just because of the way that all the mechanics work, like I'm there out in the field, I'm like sorting my stuff, and then like, oh crap, the cop's suddenly under attack. Like once it's under attack, you can't respawn anymore. You can still access your inventory and your and the traders, but you can't respawn that. So if you die, you won't be able to get back. And the first one was actually pretty intense because I was just like in the top bit, and the guys all like shouted. It was like a little hut type thing. All the guys shouted like, "Hey, there's someone here!" And I kind of like went to the doorway and leaned out, and then this grenade goes off kind of in the middle of the camp. And the way that grenades work in Grey Zone is like really interesting. I don't know the exact mechanics of how they function, but because you don't have health, I suspect that they work in a sort of like pressure wave kind of way because what happened to me? So I was close-ish. I didn't take any specific damage per se from the grenade. Like I didn't have any bleeding or anything like that. But what happened was I had my brain organ and my stomach organ both went like the very first shade of damage to yellow. So when and the reason why this works so well is because the grenade's gone off. It's like your screen is then like because you've like kind of been dazed by the grenade because you're in like the first state of damage. I'm not sure how many stages. I can't remember how many stages of damage there are. I think there's maybe 3. It's kind of like yellow, orange, like red, and then you die, something like that. But because the first stage, it's like your guy's like kind of sick, so he's like, oh, oh god, but then the whole screen's like, and to fix that, it actually takes quite a while. And I think there might be something that gets rid of it temporarily, but painkillers didn't seem to do it. It's a bit gimmicky. You have to use a surgery kit on your like own brain to like fix it. So it's a bit like
Okay.
gamey at the moment. So maybe they fix that later. But like I had to like try and like get out of the base, like flank and stuff, and I choose between fixing these 2 things, which is going to take like a minute. It takes a long time, or just like fight with like this like woozy thing. I chucked a load of grenades back at them, so I think they were probably in like a pretty dazed state as well. I ended up like flanking all the way around, and I killed the first guy. There was only one, fortunately. And then I had the same thing with another cop as well. Like, end up fighting this guy, like loop around, do a big flank, and like they're trying to get in for the AI, but I'm there, and I end up killing this other guy as well. So I ended up killing like 2 people defending cops, and it was just like randomly between missions because I just so happened to be there when they were trying to take it over because probably they wanted to go do a mission, but I was just there, just like sorting my stuff out. And I got alerted to their presence because of like our AI getting aggroed by them. It's like it felt really quite cool, actually. I was like, oh, this is kind of neat. And there's like enemy helicopters going over and stuff, and I did one mission, had a load of loot, left to go to the landing zone. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to get really close, and then I'm going to call for the chopper. Call for the chopper. It says, 30 seconds. But then, like, I see another helicopter, like, coming in. I'm just like, oh, crap, there's, like, a chopper coming in right now. And then it lands. I see somebody, like, running around, and then, like, nothing. I was like, this is weird. So I, like, stood up, and the guy's, like, in the chopper and leaving. I was like, oh, God, he must be, like, right next to me somewhere. Like, that's crazy. I actually, like, fired at him in the chopper, but only a little bit. And, like, I'm not sure if you can take damage when it's left. But anyway, I shot him and a bit of blood came up, and he'd sort of gone by then. So my chopper comes in straight after. I run up to it and get it, and then I come under fire from somebody else. There's like another person like waiting around. I was just like, oh my god, this like LZ's like so hot. This is crazy because it's around one of the task location areas. So it's like a lot of risk reward about like, do you go back? Which cop do you go back to? Which LZ do you fly from? Do you fly from an LZ? Do you walk further away? Like, you've got loot on you? There's a cop nearby, but it's owned by an enemy. Do you like go in and try and take it? If you die, you're gonna have to respawn miles away and come back in. It's not that easy to get your stuff back. There's quite a lot of layers of like, what am I going to do strategically with the map? Like, do I want to spend more time doing the safe thing, or do I want to like shortcut a bit? But I might end up losing what I've got on me. It's cool. I'm genuinely really enjoying it. Like, I think it depends on like your taste in video games. If you really want like the action experience, like full on like PvP all the time, it's probably not for you. Like it's a bit more laid back, a bit more thoughtful. It's you can kind of just like plot about. It's quite chill in many ways. So if you want like full hardcore experience like Tarkov, you're just going to get punched in the dick every 5 seconds. Then it's probably not going to be for you. And there's still issues with AI and whatever. But like I don't know. I think the way it's panning out, I'm pretty. Yeah, I'm pretty happy about it. Like as I said, like I feel the desire to play. This is what I said last time. I like feel the desire to play. I'm just like, man, I want to like jump back in, I want to get to max traders and like see what they have to offer, and like have those options available, and be like, how do you sustainably make money in this game, and then like get into some PvP. And I know I'm feeling that. I'm feeling it right now. So I think I probably will get Max Traders this wipe, like, which is something I've never done, obviously, before in Grey Zone. But yeah, it's cool.
That's awesome.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. So yes, long story short, they need to add more stuff afterwards, but there's a long way to go. But yeah, I don't think sacrificing mechanics that we've got now that make the game feel like it plays well is the answer.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Yep.
Excited to see where that game ends up in the future.
Cool. Okay, so what else we got? There's the plethora of millions of different things coming. So there's a few announcements, right? There's well, not announcements. What is it? Steam Fest Summer Steam thing. I don't usually keep much track of this. I tend to read like recaps of other people looking at these things.
Yeah. So Steam is, I guess, technically, does it start today? I guess it started. Let me pull it up here. So there's the Steam Summer Showcase of Summer Showcases. Steam Summer Showcase 2025. This is like a bunch of different various showcases, spotlights going on. Like I think Summer Game Fest is like a classic one from Jeff Keighley, and maybe Steam is a partnership. I can't remember, but definitely Jeff Keighley is involved. But yeah, there's just kind of like a lot of different showcases going on. I guess technically there's been a special live stream each day from the 3rd of this month and going on to the 12th. But like, for example, today at 11 there's an accessibility summer showcase. And then tomorrow at 12 there's Wholesome Direct 2025, which is like wholesome games, women-led games, etc., etc. Like there's IGN Green Games Showcase, which I imagine is like Steam Greenlit, maybe. I'm not sure. Future Games Show, PC Gamer, IGN Live. There's even like an Xbox Showcase with like Outer Worlds, I guess. And then like the big thing highlighting this is Next Fest with Steam, which is like I think this is the one I'm thinking of, but it's kind of like their promotion that they do for like developers and studios for like games, usually a lot of indie games, and you'll be able to play like demos of games. They'll have like demos available. Sometimes the demos will still be available afterwards, but that's cool. I mean, it's great for like developers, obviously, because they can help sell their games during this time period. But yeah, there's gonna be a lot of different things. Like going through the list, for example, I think it's gonna be on the today maybe. It says Summer Game Fest. I guess it is today. I can't remember, but anyways, at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the show starts. Summer Games Fest, and on there looks like there's Dune Awakening, Arc Raiders, which, oh my god, Giga, earlier this week I was reminded of Arc Raiders, and I was like, please, I need you in my life. I need that game so badly.
Many people are like this. It's actually crazy.
Yeah, they did a really good job. I saw, just as a quick tangent, I saw Rilo posted a video, and I didn't watch it, but like I let it like play a preview and look at the thumbnail, and it was like I think the thumbnail was something like they gamified our worst nightmares, and it was like the giant spider robot, and it's like yeah, that was totally how that game was. It's like you are an ant you don't belong in this world, and these things are out to get you. They did a good job at that game. Man, that I gotta keep talking about that game for a second. That game was like ready to go, in my opinion. Like the bar is so low for like games nowadays. It's like when I get something like this, I'm like, this game's ready to go. Launch this thing. But that being said, like it was like truly like all the features were there. There was like 0 bugs, but I'm sure they want to like polish and add even more content. So I'm really excited about that game. We'll see what we get from that. Maybe we'll get a release, a demo, something, another beta, maybe full release. We'll see.
Like, people are so excited about it. There's a Twitter account I've been following called Rooster Scrappy the Rooster, which is the weird chicken mechanic that just gives you like nuts and bolts and stuff. And they're posting all sorts of stuff. There's like the latest ones like Arc Raiders has been rated by the Australian government, another sign of a potential release. Arc Raiders page on the Epic Games Store has just been updated for the first time since 2024. Epic Games Store database Arc Raiders is listed with a $40 price tag. Essentially, there's like lots of like things. It looks like it's being, it's gearing up to release. I think there was a rumor slash fan theory that today was the day that it might be releasing in the first, but
Mm,
no one really knows, right? But then
right.
we've got this thing. It's on Summer Game Fest and stuff, so like no one knows whether they're just going to be like suddenly like it's out. I think people are hoping for that, but we're gonna have to see. I know there's lots, but it seems to be the most anticipated game in this genre that I've seen for a while, honestly.
Yeah, which pleases me because I really enjoyed it. So I was like, yeah, I never quite know what the general vibe's gonna be with people because obviously each individual person has each individual taste, right? But
Yeah.
I quite liked it, even if it is just gonna be like a 40-hour game or whatever.
Mm,
It's like,
yeah.
this was fun for a little bit. I still love the game. Dune Awakening was like the other game that some of my friends are excited about. It is like a open world survival type game set in the Dune universe. One of my friends like basically hates survival games and doesn't want to play them and like gets bored of them every time he tries to he tried playing Valheim and like
Mm.
30 minutes in he's like, I hate this game, this sucks, I don't want to sit here whacking trees, I'm done. So he played this game because he likes Dune, and he was like, yeah, this is like the first survival game that I like thoroughly enjoyed. So he gave it high praise. I don't know if I'll be, because right now I think you can pre-purchase it for $50. I'm not sure when the release date's coming out. I think it's June 10th. Yeah. Um, but I've heard good things about it, but I don't know if it's really something it's so hard because I was just telling Giga earlier this morning that I bought Elden Ring Night Rain from Soft's like Elden Ring co-op type of game, a little side project, and I have yet to really
Hmm.
play it. I'm probably gonna play it with. I'm gonna try to play it this weekend with some friends, but yeah, I just like God. I mean, it was $40, but still, it's like $40 here for this little game, $40 there for
Yeah.
this little game. It's like it adds up. Uh,
Yeah, I haven't actually. I want to see. I haven't seen any June content actually. I saw a lot of people playing it on Twitch the other day. I
hmm,
don't know if there were drops or something for it, but yeah, it's kind of just like it's ended up just sort of passing me by. I just haven't had time to get into it, and because it's sort of survival. It's sort of on the other edge of the kind of my tangential games to play. I only have time
yeah,
for so many of these things, and it's sort of like
yeah,
it's the other end of the spectrum of the
right.
blend from like extraction to survival to whatever. It's like it's sort of it's near, but it's sort of the other side of the
No, I
sphere.
guess
So
yeah,
I'm just kind of like, oh, I've like not had time to like cross over and have a look at it. But people seem to be enjoying it at least. I know like One Peg's like full in on it. He's been on it for ages. Like see him posting about it quite often. And think Erwin was playing it the other day, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's maybe something to check out. I'm not sure. The
yeah,
only thing that I would say about it, I have seen that this like they've got the pre-release stuff for when it comes out, and they've some people have been complaining about this like gaming trend of like, oh, you can pay $30 more to get it like 1 week early or a few days early or whatever it is. Just like, like, are we really doing this? You can like pay even more to get it like a little bit early to everybody else. It's like, man, this sucks. Like, can you guys not? Can you
yeah,
just like not do that?
yeah.
What was the last game to do that? There's another big game that did that. I think, oh
Yeah. There's
God,
a
I can't
couple
remember what it
AAA
was.
games. I
There's one that I was interested in that I ended up. Was it like Space Marine or something? Maybe I can't remember. Maybe it was Space Marine. I don't remember. But
don't know.
anyway, it's pretty toxic.
Yeah. I mean, it's not maybe not the worst thing in the world, but yeah. I mean,
Yeah, it
if you
is.
can wait, he said, yeah. Xborn is another game. It's on my wish list. I have games that are on my wish list that some of my friends are like, "Hey, this is an extraction shooter. Add it to your wish list." I was like, "Okay." um, which I think this is the one Tobias is working for now, the
Correct.
studio, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Is it the same studio that made that one vampire battle royale game? Was it a vampire battle royale game?
some like blood something. I don't remember which one.
Yeah, wasn't it like
Some...
Masquerade
I've not played it. I
Bloodlines?
don't know.
Yeah,
I
something
think
like
like
that.
last time I got confused. I always call it the wrong thing, so I'm not going to say
Yeah,
anything.
I think I just butchered it. Anyways, I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, I've definitely like because I think this might be a third person. Yeah, I think judging by the gameplay, looks like it is. But after playing Arc Raiders, I'm just like, third person ain't the worst thing in the world. Depending on caveats there. I really liked Arc Raiders camera switching. I thought that was like a really good, like, just it
Mhm.
seems like such a small thing, but for me, it like really adds up. It's like, for example, Deadlock, there is no camera switching, so like left hand peaks are like,
Kind of annoying.
yeah. So I really appreciate that. Anyways, Exoborn, another game in this showcase. Have you heard much about it? Because I genuinely, like I said, my friends really added to your wish list. Like, okay,
I have. I can't. There've been like some tests. I think at some
mm-hmm.
point I've like I played like a little bit of one.
Okay.
But like it's supposed to be. I didn't see. I haven't seen anything that's like makes it like super different to the others. Just like you know, guns and post-apocalypse and whatever. It's like I think the idea is that it's got dynamic weather. So I was like, I've just got like I've
Hmm.
got a summary here, which is open world tactical extraction shooter with PvPvE gameplay, developed by Shark Mob, Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt, co-developed by Jaeger, who's the
Oh, that's
they were the
right.
Cycle Frontier people, right?
Yeah.
Set for 2025 release, post-apocalyptic US Midwest after a meteor crash, dynamic weather, tornadoes, and yeah, it's just like extract valuable resources while battling players and AI enemies, reborn mutants, customize weapons and extra rigs for vertical movements like grappling hooks and jetpacks. So it is like a sci-fi type thing. But yeah, environmental hazards like storms shape the raids supposedly, and like extra rigs allow different play styles and stuff. So it's like the extreme weather is kind of the deal in this.
Okay.
It seems it's like, and it's not even just like weather like normal weather. It's like I'm not sure exactly how much it changes it because I didn't get to see enough, but it's
I mean, there's like,
it looks kind of cool. So, but it depends on how the mechanics work. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. Like, it's one of those ones which, like, yeah, it looks pretty neat, but yeah, you can be like thrown up in the air by the like tornadoes and stuff like this, and yeah, it's like kind of crazy. But yeah, I don't know enough yet about the game to tell you that it's like good or not. It's just like, okay, it looks like they've got the prerequisite things in there to make it
right.
to make it a game, right? But like now it needs to we need to see actually like how it plays.
Yeah. It does look,
So
it does look visually appealing from what I'm seeing in the
mm.
footage, just as in development, footage and gameplay. Um, and yeah, it looks like you're like super soldiers, like you got like exoskeletons type of thing.
Kind of, yeah. I can't remember the lore of it. Some kind of like special forces team thing. I can't really remember. It was a while since I last looked at this. Like it's been
Yeah,
brewing for ages actually, but it's been in
yeah,
development for a while. I think.
yeah. I think I actually got invited to one of the betas, but I didn't play it just because like, yeah, just had something else going on at that time. But
Yeah.
yeah, this looks like it's definitely looks like something I will check out in the future when the opportunity arises.
hmm There's
Um,
another one on the list. This is the IGN from the IGN live one. There's this other one, Escape from Duckov.
oh yes.
Now, have there been tests of this before? I feel like people have played this already, like
Oh,
tests of it or something.
there's another.
I haven't, but
I think there's. Oh man, I can't remember. I thought there was another. No, this is a different one. There's another Duck Tarkov themed game
is it
or
really?
Goose game. I think actually
Oh, there's a goose one, yeah, but this one's like proper.
this one's ducks.
It actually looks sort of. They actually, but I don't think the goose game has got anything to do with the EFT necessarily. I don't think, does it?
No, I think it's.
From what I remember, it looks similar though. It looks like a
I
similar
think
game,
it's
but like
more
this is
like
like proper Tarkov like
yeah,
parody.
yeah, yeah. I think the Goose one is
Oh,
more Rust like or something.
apparently you can play the demo for this
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Supposedly, people in chat were saying, but yeah, this one's the top-down extraction looter shooter parody.
Mm-hmm.
I have heard about it before. I was told about it at one point that they were like might be doing some, I don't know, some stream stuff or whatever, and that like the game, despite it being a big meme, is actually kind of like low key kind of good for what
Mm-hmm.
people for like what I heard. So I've not played it myself yet, but it looks, I mean, it looks funny, right? It does
Yeah.
look funny.
Yeah. Oh, cool. They got some type of base building slash grid like hideout thing that looked kind of cool.
Maybe I'll have to play the demo and just give it a try.
Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't think about yeah. That's the amazing thing about this stuff is a lot of stuff. There will be demos for you to test the waters and see if it's something you may like. Okay, well man, the PC gaming show Lost Rift. Oh boy, Giga. I and a
What is
friend.
this?
This is Lost Rift. It's okay if you haven't
Lost
heard of it,
Rift?
because I don't know if you're gonna be missing out. Yeah, so
I've never heard of this.
it's another co-op survival game, multiplayer PvP crafting. I think it might be under the extraction tag, but maybe not. So me and a friend we played this because we got into the one of the testing, and I was like, hey, let's just do this over the weekend. And we played it, and oh my god, like I'm really sorry, studio people can fly, but I played this thing. This thing was like whatever comes before alpha. That's what this was. Like there was like, I mean, it was pretty buggy. First of all, like I had missing
Right.
textures on like several objects where my friend did not. I was like, okay, this is weird. It just felt like it just felt really, really early alpha. Like when I died, I could. And my character was in like a dead pose, right? And so I was then spectating my friend, and then I noticed I started to jump. I pressed the space bar, like I guess instinctively, and then my character like got up from the ground, jumped up, and then flopped back down to the ground. And but I was seeing it through his thing, and we were laughing, and then saw I was like spamming that, and then I started pressing the arrow keys, like, and then my dead body was sliding across the ground. It's I was playing the game through my like through his POV, watching my dead body move, sliding around, jumping across. It was hilarious. But yeah, this game it is very early access. Like this game, I do not know anything about the studio. I feel bad for like crapping on it, but at the same time, I just kind of loathe, you know, these games that get announced and it's like, hey, you guys like survival crafting games, right? It's like it feels like there's a dime a dozen of these games that come out. It's just it gets kind of repetitive and ad nauseum. But well, give it some time. Let it cook. Maybe a
Yeah.
game. A
They all kind
game.
of look the same. Is it like
It costs
UE5
you
as well? What it is?
nothing to add. I don't know. It costs you nothing to add it to your wish list. But yeah, just I did not have a good experience. Like it was funny, but it was not. We played it for like 20 minutes and we are like, yeah, we're done. This is really
Right.
rough. There's
Okay.
Firebreak, which is I describe it as like Battlefield Office in the office. Like I can't remember where I saw the one clip from. Yeah, here it is. It's like there's a this was in some other showcase. I
Oh,
think it might have been Nvidia's one of Nvidia's tech demos for something, but they're like shooting these like guns in the office, and there's a bunch of like sticky notes flying everywhere. It even appears to be like a sticky notes looking character of something.
yeah.
But yeah, it just I don't know why it reminds me of like Battlefield. I guess because some of the weapons you got like the Lee. Oh, I can't remember what it's called, but like the big giant uh British LMG. It's got like a disc mount, like a disc magazine mounted on the top. Um, Remedy Entertainment. Oh, these are the guys that did Control, right?
I don't know.
Quantum
Which one's
Break,
Control?
Alan Wake. Okay, yeah, yeah. I'm reminding myself. Max Payne. Okay, not Control. No, also Control. Anyways, um, but yeah, PV. It seems like it's a PVE FPS co-op. class-based action sci-fi shooter. It could be interesting. Slap it on my list. There's also a James Bond game someone told me about that I see here that's reminding me of that. But anyways, that were some of the highlights. Unless you had more.
Well, not from here necessarily, but
Okay.
there was another game that came to my attention called Active Matter. I saw people talking about it on Twitter, and it seems to have sort of come out of nowhere. I don't know how long this has been in the making for, but it seems like have been like some tests or whatever of this thing. But this is like Gaijin's
Gaijins.
new extraction shooter. So they're the people who do War Thunder.
Oh, right. Yes.
So it is their extraction shooter. Now, the one thing that's interesting about Active Matter, which is actually kind of cool, is let me see if I can find a good summary of it. Basically, it's got like a in-game like explanation for like why you do the things that you do.
Nice.
So like the basics of it supposedly is something along the lines of players are operatives in a time loop. So you're like going into these zones each time. It's like now that's why it's kind of the same, you know, like the loot's still there or whatever. It's like because you're like stuck in this time loop. So like you go in for a certain amount of time and then you like go back to your main HQ, and it looks quite cool. I watched a video on it on YouTube from somebody who'd played one of the earlier playtests, and it's like you're basically like walking around your hideout. It looks like quite similar to the Tarkov hideout in some sense because they've got like things that are coming in the future. There's like a crafting kind of station and other stuff, and you like access the different worlds. You basically like go through a portal and like access the different worlds from your main hideout. But it looked kind of interesting. I was like, oh, this is kind of weird because it's like a sort of, I don't know, almost a stalkery kind of vibe to it, right? Because it's
Yeah.
just like, you're collecting this like active matter stuff, which is like the weird otherworldly spooky stuff,
Okay.
collecting that to like upgrade things. And it looked like the progression system was quite like fleshed out already. They were adding new modules. There's like a gym that was like locked, you couldn't get in yet and stuff like that. But there was, you could like, if you threw enough guns of a certain type, if you put, I don't know, like the PPSH into the replicator, if you did put like a couple of them in there, whatever, the replicator then like builds a blueprint. You can then like build as many as you like
Oh, okay.
afterwards, maybe for a resource. I'm not really sure, but there seem to be some interesting mechanics going on. Like you leveled up the sort of portal thing that you use to connect to different maps, and there's like AI and like weird sort of enemies. So it seemed sort of like Stalker inspired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm getting
but
that
making
vibe.
it more like Tarkov. So it's like, Tarkov's inspired sort of by Stalker in some ways,
Right.
but like this is leaning much more into the otherworldly sci-fi kind of thing because it's like time loops, and like I think some of the art was like super cool. It's like in the world, but the world sort of like there's like drifting up and all the stuff's being lifted up, a bit like Anomalies or whatever, but like even more so, like bigger, because Stalker's got like weird stuff going on, but in certain areas it seemed like the whole thing, you like go into like a little bubble and it's like all like super messed up. So I'm not really sure. I've only seen a few videos about it. It looked kind of cool. And there's definitely there was some you could like sign up to do some beta testing for it. It's like I'm going to sign up and see what the deal is. But yeah, there's some videos out there on YouTube already. You can see people playing through a couple of raids, and it looks like the maps are quite small, so it's quite intense. A bit like Tarkov, but like with actually smaller maps in some ways. So it's quite like it's pretty PvP heavy. And the E is all like Stalker style E, like invisible mobs that like rush you and stuff. So it's like it seems it's quite like full on, like opposite to something like Grey Zone. It's like there's spawn in, there's just like people there straight away, like under fire immediately kind of thing, which is double-edged sword, I guess, depending on how they do it in the end. But I don't know. Yeah, it could be interesting.
Yeah.
Could be interesting.
Yeah, it looks. I mean, it looks very visually pleasing. Like
Yeah,
graphic
it is
fidelity.
quite appealing. Yeah, and it looks pretty well made so far as well.
Right.
It looks like it runs quite well. It looks like it works quite well. The hideout looked quite satisfying, and like the menus, it's just the design of the game
This
is
really got me.
quite nice.
This screenshot here where they're like on the side of the building. It's like
Yeah,
they're
so
standing.
apparently there's like a wall running mechanic,
Oh, okay.
possibly. So maybe that's what's happening there. I'm not sure. Obviously, I've not played this game yet. I've only like seen
Yeah.
a few things, but yeah, you have to like collect this active matter and then like upgrade stuff and whatever. So it could tickle the itch if it's sort of done in the right way.
Yeah, it looks interesting. So that's a good sign for me, is like if it looks interesting. Um cool. Yeah, I didn't know about this.
Yeah, it's like one of those games that's got. It's like we've sort of talked before. You've got quite a lot of creative license to do whatever. It
Oh,
looks like the guns are like older, sort of. It's like it's weird because it's like crappy Eastern guns,
yeah, but this I was gonna say.
but in a sci-fi sort of world. It's like it's kind of odd like that.
They had a news little post where they post like, I mean, recently they post a lot of like weapons in there.
Hmm.
But they got one in here. It's like not just AKMs, and it's like this weird futuristic looking AK basically. And I love the design of this thing. Like this thing looks so cool. It's almost like a bulb up in a way.
Let
Um,
me bulk up your AKM kind of post.
yeah, but it looks so like I can see the AK inspirations. But I love this like alternate timelines type stuff. It's like familiar but
Mm.
different. And they say due to the versions of the multiverse, operatives and active matter can sometimes come across unique weapon prototypes. One of them is a TKB-022P experimental bolt pump rifle, designed by Korobov and developed in the USSR in the 1960s. Blah 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 blah. I'm not gonna read the entire thing here, but it looks cool. So I like that. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, so this is the kind of creative license that's pretty neat, right? You don't, because it's like, oh, it's like multiverse, it's like different like parallel dimensions where like different things happen in each one, like stuff can be a bit different in each one. There's like quite a lot of scope to do cool stuff because you don't have to just be like, oh, well, actually, this firing pin is misaligned on this, because it's like fully realistic. Like you could just be like, well, you could do whatever the hell you like, kind of thing, which is kind of neat from a design perspective.
Yeah,
Get a lot of scope to just do it how you want to do it.
and it kind of looks like a PPSH now that I think about it in a way, like an AK PPSH. I think it looks sick. That's cool. Yeah, that's really cool. There is another thing that. Oh yeah, this is why if you don't mind going down some other ones that I
Yeah, go
saw.
for it.
Summer Games Fest during this time. So Liza P. I haven't told you about this game, or at least I talked about it.
This was a
But
Souls-like thing, right?
yeah, yeah. And this game came across one of the YouTubers that I recently subscribed to. She did a video about Liza P and her playthrough. And I was reminded just like how good this game was, because this game was like so good for a Souls like. Because Souls likes are like a dime a dozen, but this they did a really good job. There's a DLC coming out, I think this year. It says coming soon. Hopefully this year. I will absolutely be buying it and playing it. Probably play through the entire game again. It'll be a joy and pleasure. And yeah, Liza P Overture? Is that French? I don't know. Overture.
Overture.
Overture. Gotta get my we gotta get that American out of me. American egg.
Yeah,
Overture.
like in an orchestra.
But yeah, I'm excited for this because man, that game is just so good. Such a good game. Uh, more. Okay, so Splitgate 2. This is another one that, long story short, I was looking for like movement shooter games. I was looking for something to replace
Mm.
Deadlock. Because like, there's aspects of Deadlock that I really like, and there's aspects that I hate. Um, and so I was like, there's gotta be like some type of like movementy shooter type thing. Not that Deadlock's really a movement shooter, but there's like wall jumps, right? And I really
Mm.
like it's. I was playing like Marvel Rivals, and I was like, oh man, I can't wall jump. Like I can't wall bounce. It's so annoying. I really want this. Splitgate 2. I played Splitgate 1 a little bit. It really wasn't for me. I mean, this is like basically a return to like classic Halo multiplayer, but with portals, which is like a really cool idea. And like when I played Splitgate 1, I was like, I mean, it's like this is cool and all, but like I never really quite got heavily into like
Hmm.
the Halo style of combat. Like it's a great system and all, but it just really wasn't. Part of that I think is because I got away from consoles by the time like Halo 3 came around. I was like way more into PC gaming around that time. But anyways, I want to check this out because yeah, I think I got a demo or like the beta installed. I just need to find a time to play it.
Okay.
But I went, like I
Yeah, I
said,
mean, I looked at
you go ahead.
I looked at this a while back because it was one of the games that ended up being suggested for. Remember that LAN party that we were doing, and we were like
Oh
looking
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
games that you could play with like 8+ people. And Splitgate 1 was actually one of the games that came up. We ended up like not playing it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember why exactly. So yeah, it's kind of neat. Like I played like a round or two of the first one just to be like, oh, okay, this is pretty, this is a pretty interesting concept.
Yeah.
And I've definitely seen like the marketing Splitgate 2 quite a lot. I've seen like quite a few ads pop up for it, and yeah,
Whoa, wait, was
they
that?
seem to be pushing it quite heavily.
Oh snap! Looks like they got mapping tools or some type of
Yeah, custom
infinite
mapping.
custom maps. Man, if they have a map editor, that will be crazy because I would totally be into that.
I can see this doing quite well, right? It's like a return to, as you say, like classic FPS. It's like not really.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to find that kind of gameplay now.
Yeah, especially considering how well
And
the
like,
first
yeah,
one did too. Like I think it
mm,
was, or maybe it went free to play, but like there was a time where people were, you know, playing like it was a little bit of a thing. It probably wasn't like that big of a thing, but it was a thing. So I'm glad that they're able to like make a sequel and like graphically it looks really well. Like I like the it's a very distinct visual than compared to the first one. The first one was like very like neutral tone, very like black white. There was a lot of like black white. Well, not blacks, but like whites and grays. And like there'd be like sprinkles of colors from what I remember, but this one's got like a lot of color to it and a lot of like environmental. Like there's like a desert. There's like a
mm.
fauna I'm seeing in some of these. So I
I
like
think
the visual look of it.
probably, I think probably unsurprisingly, the first one probably took a lot of inspiration from like the Portal level design and stuff, right? That's kind of like
True, true,
they've got the
true.
portals from Portal as like the main feature of the game, and a lot of that game is in the sort of clinical, white box type like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
prefab
yeah.
style. So I feel like maybe that was the reason why. But like, yeah, this one looks really cool. They've got a lot more like assets and textures and like interesting maps, like yeah, outside like rock areas and more natural map design as
Mm-hmm.
well. So as well as the regular sort of arcade style arena, interiors you get from like
Yeah,
Quake or whatever. So it's like
yeah.
maybe it's like going to be an interesting mashup of like all these different games, like the next iteration of it that people will like. I don't know. I don't know. Like I've never been a huge arena shooter person, but we'll we'll just have to see.
It just
I know there's
bonked the
like clip of
guy with
someone
the
like
skip ball.
yeah, it's pretty funny. So it looks like they're kind of going towards the kind of comedy element as well, a bit goofing around, sort of just like easy to play. It's probably got
Yeah.
a nice answer to all of these other games. It's like every extraction shooter wants you to play it for 2,000 hours, and
Mm-hmm.
get like so deeply invested. And every raid, if you haven't required a new pair of pants, that you're playing the game wrong, right? Whereas like this is sort of it's almost like counter to all the games getting super serious, being like yeah, just like mess around, just have a blast, pop on for 15 minutes and just like frag some stuff and then leave, but without it being COD, basically.
Yeah, I could totally be down for that. Just some mindless fun. And then you have
Mm.
the portals as like a way to spice it up a bit.
So is this going to be free too? It says there. It says the only free to play shooter with
It says
portals.
free to play, yeah. So
Nice.
cool. This is launching today. Launch
Oh,
schedule tomorrow at 9 a.m.
and that was on Thursday.
Yeah, so they're probably gonna come here a couple of hours once the
Mm.
summer games thing starts. They'll probably it's probably when they'll announce it and do a release. Mark Rager talked about that. This one caught my eye. Mixtape. This is like very off topic from the games that we've talked about so far, but I really like the art style, and this reminds me of Life is Strange, which is one of my favorite game series of all time. And I don't know, it just
I've not
looks
played it.
cool. It's I'm not even really sure. It just says narrative single player music adventure, and it's just like looks like your friends in high school and you're like skateboarding. But it's got I like the visual elements to it. Like it's got that like Spider-Man Miles Morales type of animation where it's almost like stop motion, but it's like 3D. Like I don't know, it looks very visually appealing, and yeah, I'd be super curious to see what this game entails.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have no context on this at all. I don't even know what Life is Strange is about.
It's basically about this girl who discovers that she can reverse time, but it's like a slice of life thing. She's like in high
Right.
school, and so like you play from her POV, and like the world's like falling apart. I mean, there's like a that's kind of the thing for me of like something like this. It's like what's the like there's probably gonna be like high school, coming of age stuff, and then like what's like the other stuff that's happening that's tied into the whole coming of age. Um anyways, I like stuff like this because it's like it's not my comfort zone, but that's like the cool thing for me about Life is Strange is like a game I probably never would have played until I like played it because I don't remember, maybe I bought it on sale or something and I was like, wow, I'm like really glad I played this game because I really liked it, like it really spoke to me.
Or it's like kind of different.
Yeah, exactly,
It shows you a
exactly.
different perspective on life, kind of thing. That's stuff's important like that sometimes.
Yeah. Wild Gate, another game that I think is in that extraction shooter space. I don't know for sure.
Oh, really?
I think okay. This is another game that my friends are like, add it to your wish list. I'm like, okay. I had plans to play the beta with a friend of mine, but we never did. Unfortunately. But yep. So this is like space. It's some type of like co-op PvP thing. I honestly I wish I could tell you more about it. The few things that I know about it is this is made by some of the original Blizzard devs.
Mm.
Um, like I guess like I don't know how far back, but nonetheless, um, it looks very polished in that regard, and yeah, it looks like there's some space combat. Like I said, unfortunately, I don't have a lot of information about this game. It's just one of those things. Everyone's like, add it to your wish list, and we'll play it because it's in that space we like to occupy as like survival extraction. Not really survival, but like extraction shooters. I got like an extraction shooter core of friends. But anyways, planned release date 2025, and it's going to be in the showcase. So you'll learn more there.
God, so many games.
I know.
It's just like there's like nothing to play for 6 months, and then there's like a billion games that all want you to play them at the same time.
Yep. And it's tough
Crazy.
too. Like I was looking at just as another quick tangent. I was looking at MOBAs, shooter MOBAs to like
Yeah.
fulfill that new desire in me, and there was like a handful of them, but the player
Oh.
count was like I'm not sitting in queue for 20 minutes. Basically, is my conclusion. Like
To play
Deadlock
against the
has,
other 9 people that play this game.
yeah, I mean Deadlock has like 10,000 or yeah 10,000 peak concurrent players, and like some of these games are like 2,000 peak concurrent or like 1,000 peak concurrent. I was just like, oh man, it's such a. I tried playing Quake Champions, which had like less than 1,000 peak concurrent players. Like it might have been like 200, and I was in queue for like 10 minutes, and then I uninstalled and gave up. So it's tough,
Mm.
because there is so many games. It's if a game doesn't suck up enough space, it may not be viable, especially if it's like free to play,
Yeah.
etc. So, um, just wrapping up here, there was like one other one that I saw, Thick as Thieves. I really like the art style on this one. Looks like it's in like 1910s metropolis. It's got a very like London-esque, not a little steampunky, but not
Mm.
really. At the same time, kind of more like cartoony, um, exaggerified, I guess, in terms of like the detail and stuff. But it looks interesting. It's an immersive sim. Like it almost looks a bit like, oh god, what is that? What is that one game series where Dishonored? It's a little bit like, looks a little bit like that, but more as if you had like Arcane, the
Yeah.
Netflix series art style, you know, painted over across it. But yeah, this one looks interesting because it's PVE, PvP, multiplayer self game filled with magic and intrigue. Hide and sneak your way through the ranks as you match your cunning against rival thieves in immersive living world, stories and shadows. A new take on stealth from Warren Spector, excuse me.
It's
And yeah,
interesting, like PvE, and it's like a stealth game.
exactly. Stuff like that. Do you remember me telling you about that one game? Um, God, what was it called? It was third person. There was like zombies. A lot of melee combat. Naquan was that the name of it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That game was like had like a certain stealth element to it, and like sound was really important. Like you could throw like
yeah.
bottles of glass, like pull all the zombies to the enemies. Like I really liked that stuff. So this is definitely intriguing me because yeah, different stuff sometimes can just be really. It can be so hit or miss. You never know. It's gonna be
I,
for you or not
I've
till you
seen a
try it.
few. I've seen a few posts from Naquan recently.
Yeah,
They're still working on it, but like the marketing seems to have really gone quiet. There's like
yeah.
some dev talks and stuff, but I've just like not really. I've just not really get like I don't know. They've not really.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really been exciting enough. There's like a lot of stuff that they've been posting. They post something like at least once a week, it seems.
Oh really? I've not really had
Yeah.
a follow up on them or anything.
No, I know, I know. There's quite a few stuff. There's like Q&A posts. There's like all sorts of things. But I don't know. It's another Nexon game though.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe maybe once they actually like put out another big like push on it or whatever, we'll like try it again, see what it's like.
Otherwise, I mean, that was like the games. I mean, some of them. I was telling Giga before we got started that I was going to like go through a lot of the games that were like displayed and kind of like get an idea, a better idea of what they were and whatnot. But I end up catching up some sleep this morning. But those are some of the games that I skimmed through or already had on my wish list and whatnot. And obviously, as the event progresses, I'm sure there'll be more announcements, more things to get excited for. So, cool stuff happening.
Yeah, that's cool. There's one other announcement that I saw yesterday that I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Which is like super. It's like super niche. It's like a really niche game. I'm surprised that this is happening, but apparently they're remaking or doing a remaster of Final Fantasy Tactics. Of
Oh
all the
yeah, you told me
games
about that.
that could be
Yeah.
remastered, like Final Fantasy
What
Tactics was
is?
not the one on my playing cards. So Final Fantasy Tactics, like when was it even released? Like it's old. Final Fantasy Tactics is like really old. Um, yeah, June 1997 was the original Final Fantasy Tactics. So it's a turn-based like grid fantasy strategy game, basically. So you have 4 units, 5 units, or whatever, and you're like, it's just series of fights, right, with a story. That's basically it. So like each fight is pieced together between different bits of the story. You have to make choices. You have different loadouts. I think you can buy stuff. I can't remember now. It's been a long time since I played it. And yeah, and you go into each battle, but it's like sort of 3D terrain, blocky type look to it. It's like very very old style, but they're remaking it. And it looks like I'm surprised at how like faithfully they're remaking it to the original. It does look like it's an actual remaster as opposed to kind of like remaking the game. It's like it doesn't look that much different to how it did. I don't know whether it's going to come with like some balancing or not, because like a lot of these games back in the day, 1997, you built the game, you released the game, and that was it, right? There's no updates, so it's just like whatever the state was, and there's like usually things in there that were like super overpowered. And obviously, there's no like online or PvP element to it, so it kind of doesn't really matter. But usually, there's some combinations in there that were super broken. But no, it's really cool. It's like that sort of intersection of things that I enjoy. I like Final Fantasy anyway. I've like played a lot of Final Fantasy over the years, but Final Fantasy Tactics was, I've always been a strategy person. So along with there's another stupid game series, Dynasty Warriors, which people play like on and off. Well, I played a lot of Dynasty Warriors 3 because we had that one on PlayStation 2. But there was a Dynasty Warriors Tactics as well, which is like the same kind of deal. And I played like a ton of that too. I've not played like there's a lot of the other. I think there's one called Fire Emblem. I think because I'd never had I never actually had like a Game Boy or like handheld console. So I missed out on like all of those types and like Advance Wars and all of those kind of things that most people played, which is sort of similar-ish. So I had to basically make do with the PlayStation 1 like ports of these various games. I think Dynasty Tactics actually was on PlayStation 2 properly. But anyway, yeah. So it's a bit like that, and but it's coming to like it's coming to all the consoles. It's coming to Switch. Obviously, most of it's like pushed on console on sort of handhelds like Switch and stuff. But apparently, it's also coming to Steam as well. But I played through. I actually can't remember now whether I actually ever had the game per se, or whether I only ever played it on emulator. I think I might have just emulated it. But I've like played it on and off through the years. At one point, I had it on my phone and like finished it on that, and it's just like those kind of games I quite enjoy. They're quite especially for having on like a mobile device, just to be able to play them.
Yeah, for sure.
I think if people got like Steam Decks and stuff, it's like it's quite a good game to play if you're into those kind of strategy games on there. But I mean, I never thought they would release like do a remaster of this thing. It's the game's nearly 20 years old and in a really niche genre. Like you don't see many of those like turn-based 3D sort of grid games coming back. But like it had the concept of high ground and all sorts of stuff. There's a lot of mechanics in there. It's like quite a complicated game you go through. It's more like job based than. I mean, Final Fantasy's always been sort of job based, but like this is the sort of old typical sort of job based game where you go from like, your players are like one particular. There's like 20 different roles that they can have, and that determines like what equipment they can have, what skills they have, and that yada. You like give them a job, and then they like move up through this like branching tree of like where they can end up. To doing different roles with like from being knights to kind of like dragoon type things to like healers. There's people with guns. There's like it's a little complicated little nest of like strategy stuff to try and get a good team comp. So it's a cool little game. So I'm interested to see about like how much they change it, because as I said, it looks like it's done quite faithfully, which I'm sort of surprised about. But it's kind of charming because of that anyway, in a sense. So I'm gonna be looking out for that. I'll probably buy that on Steam and play it myself anyway. I'll probably just play that offline, just like chill out or whatever. Relive the good old days. I used to fire up Dynasty Tactics like every now and then. Again, I had like emulated for PS2.
Yeah.
And I used to play that on and off because that was another one that's quite cool. That was interesting because that one was all about combos. So it was a bit like sort of like advanced chess or whatever. Again, that had like terrain and different bits and pieces, but you could in Dynasty Tactics, you'd have each unit was its own block, and then but based on these kind of special moves that you did, you could like push and pull the opponent's like pieces around. And if you like pulled their piece, so if you had like one skill where you go up to them and then you use this skill and it like you retreat one square and they follow you one square. But if there's somebody at the side and you pull them into the person who's like your unit that's at the side and they've got this like skill activated, then their skill activates and it like is like a combo chain. So that was kind of the joy of like of Dynasty Tactics was there's like how much of like an elaborate chain can you like concoct based upon, because it's all very deterministic, because you can see based on like the morale of each unit which order they're going to play in. So it's like, okay, how much can I get away with setting stuff up like without them, or before they move, or like if they move, can they like interrupt it before I get to like pull off my combo kind of thing. Like how elaborate can I make this where it's like their main character like gets pulled to here, then it gets pushed to there, then it gets pushed to here, and then now these two are next to each other, so now it uses the flank ability. It was quite like satisfying like putting these things together. So I've always liked games like that. They're pretty neat. So Yeah, we'll see. I'd love a remake of that one. That's one that I'd love to play. Dynasty Tactics remastered. That'd be great. But Final Fantasy definitely will do.
Uh, that's cool. Yeah, you reminded me of Advance Wars because that's one of those types of games that I played on like the Game
Mm,
Boy Advance, and yeah,
yeah.
I did enjoy that game in particular, but I had not really. I've only played like at least one Final Fantasy game, which I think was 9 or 10, and that was on the emulator. I think that
Hmm.
was a PlayStation 2 emulator with
Yeah,
like
Final
the
Fantasy X
Titus
was
left.
PS2. Oh yeah. I mean, people like Final Fantasy X.
Yeah,
I'm like really iffy about Final Fantasy X, honestly. Like, and it's actually kind of like heresy to be so anti Final Fantasy X. I have actually not finished that game. I've tried to play
I
Final
didn't
Fantasy
finish
X
it
like four
either.
times, and I just cannot finish that game. I don't know. Like I've played and finished Final Fantasy 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, um, and 15, and I cannot finish Final Fantasy X. It's like impossible for me. Because
Yeah.
like 12, no wait, no, 11 and 14 are multiplayer. I think, is that right? There's two that are multiplayer. I can't remember which one. Is that 12 and is it 12 and 14? I think so. I forget now. Maybe it's just 12. I actually can't remember now. 13 was like supposedly not very good, so I didn't play that one. 15 was actually quite good, and that was on the PC. But that was the one where I basically had to buy a new hard drive to play it because it was just like we're just going to add every asset ever, and it's like 200 gig to install the game. It's like what? Um, But I did play that and enjoy it. So I mean I've played most of them, but yeah, like I'm a verified Final Fantasy X hater. I hate the sphere grid. The sphere grid can go in the
Oh
bin and
yeah, that
die.
the like
It's awful,
underwater
awful
soccer thing.
mechanic. Oh
Sorry,
yeah, I mean
underwater
like
football thing.
Blitzball is like one of the worst mini games across the whole series. Like I'm proper like I'm probably if anybody likes Final Fantasy, I'm probably inflaming all the fans right now because like I'm a verified Final Fantasy X hater for sure. Maybe it was 11. I think it was 11 and 14 that were the online ones. I forget now. It's been a long time since I looked at Final Fantasy. I think that was the new one. Actually, I haven't played the remaster of 7 because I don't think it's all out, and I didn't want to play it until it was all out. I didn't want to play I hate series like that. You know, it's just like, oh, we're gonna do like half of it, or we're gonna do like one bit of it, and then you can watch that one bit, and then we're gonna spend 2 years doing the next bit. It's just like I'd actually rather just wait 2 years and then play it all in one go. Like I'm that kind of person. I didn't watch um I didn't watch The Hobbit until it was all finished, for
Hmm.
example. And I feel a bit like that about Final Fantasy 7. It's like I think partly is my memory for the plot. This stuff is like really bad. I kind of experience these things in the moment, and then afterwards, I'm just like, I can't really remember what happened. I just don't have a good memory for this kind of stuff, and so if it gets split up in the middle, like a weekly TV series is already bad enough for me. I like come back a week later, I'm just like, so like who is this person? It's like I'm terrible at remembering plots. I really am. So like I have to watch it kind of quickly, like experience it all like pretty fast. Otherwise, I'm just like, okay, I've like lost interest now. Like, I'm not watching any more of this because I can't remember what was going on, and it's just like boring. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure if it's all out. I'll need to go and check. I don't know where the Final Fantasy 7 remaster was up to. I think it was either in 2 or 3 bits. I'll have to find out. Not sure. But I like Final Fantasy.
There's another
Cool.
game I want to tell you about that released not too long ago.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Sorry, got something else I wanted to take her. It's called Haste, and it is a. So I saw it. I've seen it a couple different places. Um, and like one of them was like movement related. Uh, videos. You know, like movement. It wasn't like movement shoes. It was like movement games. Um,
Yeah.
sorry, Discord is being really irritating. I'll have to look at that later. And let me pull it up here so I can have my attention not divided. So it is one way I think of it It kind of reminds me. I'm gonna pull it up on the web browser actually because I can control the size better. Bless you. Was that a sneeze?
No, that was me coughing.
Oh,
I'm slowly getting sick here.
yeah. I think the thing tried to like cancel it out, so it like caught in the high
Oh,
pitch. It was great. Okay, yeah, haste. So this is I don't know. It almost reminds me a little bit of like Mario, and I hate to say
I was
that
going to say it
because
looks like Mario 64.
I know I hate to say it because like the very obvious resemblance is the main protagonist has like a red hat and like the kind of resemblance of Mario, and it's got it's very like bright color. It's like a platformer game, but like you basically only operate three buttons at most, which is like left, right, and like your mouse or joystick. I mean, probably on controller, those are like bound to the same thing. Like if you move left, your camera kind of moves left. But anyways, maybe not. I
Subway
don't know.
Surfer for PC gamers.
So wait, start for yeah, kind of yeah. But it's actually I really enjoyed it when I went and played there's a demo you can download and play. Um and I'm probably gonna buy it. It's just a matter of like when.
Hmm.
um but it's really cool because yeah, you just like very simple. There's like in total grand total there's probably like five buttons. And you just simply run forward and it's all about like keeping your momentum and how you like build your momentum is like when you there's a lot of like slopes, right? Slopes that go up and
Hmm.
down. And when you go to land, you want to land at an angle where you're going down the slope. So if you land like on a slope that's going up, you get like a bad landing and you probably maybe even lose speed. But if you land on the slope that's going down, you'll get like a perfect landing. It'll say like perfect, and then you'll get like a buildup of boosts you can use to like help accelerate gaps and speed up because it's not really a speed running game. It's more just like which I didn't know when I went to play it, but it's kind of got like this roguelike dungeon crawling element to it where each there's like this kind of like Slay the Spire diverging paths. You get to choose where you want to go. There's like shops along the way, there's healing, there's like random events. It's
Cool.
honestly really, really cool. I think I've put in like maybe an hour. Yeah, well, in the demo thus far. It's just like basically the demo is just like it has like a hub world and there's like one level I guess you go to, but
Just to jump through
presumably
portraits.
yeah, yeah. I mean it feels like you're not exactly wrong.
There's
It's like a crystal that you like go through, but
a big
it's
bomb. You're like, what are you doing here?
and yeah, you fight like bosses, quote unquote, and there's like dangerous levels as like the enemy icons. It's a really if you like movement, like I don't know, for me there's something very cathartic about like a good game where like you're controlling a camera in 3D space and like you have the um what's the word I'm looking for? It's like I don't know. It's like if you were to play like a flying game, like you're flying an
Hmm.
airplane or something, and like you understand. It's like close enough to reality that like it's comprehensible, but like I know at the end of the day, it's just like a camera in 3D space that I'm moving around. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's just like you could give me like the bare bones game of like you're literally a pill and like everything's gray box, but like you give me a grappling hook and like crazy movement stuff, like I will play the crap out of that game because it's just like it's so cathartic to me. So I love stuff like this, and for this game being as like I don't know simple as it is, like there isn't really any crazy. It's like there's again I've only played a demo, so like all my content's extremely limited. But I saw like there looks like there's a grappling hook thing you can get, and yeah, it's just fun. You go fast. You know, it's so cathartic. I'm such a sucker for these games, and this game's a really good game to be a sucker for, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of like Mario 64 combined with like Sonic.
Yeah, yeah, that's another way of because even the art style, like, it's very colorful, but
With
the
the rings as well.
the rings. What
Here's like
ring?
there's a section here with like all the with like huge rings that I'm just like, oh
Oh
man,
yeah,
that's like straight out of the Sonic playbook, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like here,
That like this bit.
yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know
I'm
what
just like,
this
man,
is,
this
but
feels like
yeah,
a combo of all the platformy games, you know?
yeah, but yeah. You like collect little like stars along the way, and that like boost. That's like basically your currency, and for like when you go to the shops, and you can buy like little like passives, actives, power ups, and
Who doesn't
things.
like a roguelite element? I
Yeah, I
mean, it's
know.
good, right?
It's great. You got like a little hub world. Oh, the really one of my favorite things in like any game in general as well is like how you incorporate music into the gameplay. And like the classic one I think of is like Doom. Like you have like a soundtrack, like Doom
Mm.
2016, I should say. You have like a soundtrack, and then once you start getting combat, it's like there's like layers added to the soundtrack, and the music really ramps up. And then once the combat
So good.
settles, it like cuts out a lot of those layers. You have a similar thing here where like the soundtracks are very like you know pretty upbeat and very like I don't know poppy, progressive.
Mm.
Very fits well within the vibes of this, right? Like your platformer type games. And then but there's this like moving as part of gameplay, you're running, obviously, right, and you're like jumping, trying to go fast. But if you're too slow, there's like a closing zone or like a storm, if you will, like
Mm.
corruption that like incentivizes you to go faster. Because if you don't, you damage it damages you, you die, you lose a life, etc. But as that corruption creeps behind you, the soundtrack becomes like distorted and like slow to it. And
Oh,
if you're like in the zone, it is like very eerie and unsettling, like in a good way, But it's just like they did a really good job with that. Cause yeah, like listening to like the happy-go-lucky version and then like the corrupted version, it's just like night and day. It's very unsettling.
like honestly, an OST can make or break a game. I'm like, I'm being
Yeah,
serious.
it's
You know,
so
it's like
true.
it's so huge, such a massive element to most games. Like the last game that made me like set up and just like be like, oh my god, this is so good was Helldivers with the OST. That was the last
Hmm.
one that made me think this is so good. The Helldivers OST is absolutely incredible. It's amazing, and because it plays so well into the game without necessarily being like the main tune is obviously very noticeable, like the main theme, but just the way that it like plays out in the actual game as well. It's like there was like there's quite a few of these now. They're popping up on YouTube, like artists breaking down or musicians breaking down stuff, whatever. And there was like one which I watched, which is about like breaking down the Helldivers like soundtrack or whatever. And it's just like the brash ball stuff, like you're on the ship and it's all like gung ho, whatever. And then it like lands you on the alien planet, and then it's just like then you're on your own, and like the music all just like dies away, and then it's just like eerie, and it's like now you got to go and do the actual thing. But like all the you've been like kind of forced there, and it's just like right off you go, and then you're sort of there like on this alien world. It's just like oh, like kind of creepy, kind of eerie. It, like changes the tone of the whole thing. It's just like it's so good. I really love it. I love like game OSTs. It's so cool.
Yeah,
It's
you're a big
really a big
enjoyer of
passion
that.
of mine.
You like one of
Yeah,
your favorites
just
is
like
like Final Fantasy OST or
oh
something.
yeah, I love that stuff. Yeah, I love that stuff. Like you were saying about the because I think I spoke previously about Faster Than Light. It's also got that like multi-layered thing, so you get into combat and then the layer comes over the top with the combat version. And but I remember there's like other games as well, like Serious Sam, with old this like random shooter game, and that had the
Hmm.
same thing. It's just like multi-layered tracks. Like I love any game that's got the multi-layer, and it just like it just fades into like the more combat heavy track, and then it fades back out to the passive like just going around track as like things happen. I think it really adds so much to a game. There's like quite a few games I've played that are like that, and it's always a joy. It's always a joy. I find myself like it's not all game music. It depends really. Like some of it just kind of like goes in by osmosis into the back of your head, and then you look it up and you're like, oh yeah, I feel like great memories with this. It's sort of nostalgic or whatever. There's other tracks where as you're listening to or as you're playing, a track will like lift up, and I'm like, oh, I'm noticing this in particular, and I'll like seek it out purposefully later on. I'm like, oh man, that's such a good song. Um, okay, I haven't listened to much game soundtrack stuff recently because most of the games I've been playing don't really have one. Like game like Grey Zone and stuff like a lot of them. These ones I've got the music off. But it's like funny. Like my friends think I'm kind of mental. I still to this day after like a few thousand hours, I still to this day have the Dota 2 soundtrack on the basic soundtrack.
What?
Which is like crazy. Like everyone else is just like, what the hell? Like, how can you play? How do you play with like the classic OST? I'm just like, I just like it. I like the pre-game. I like the way it warms up, like up to the horn, and like I like it. I like the way and like it's got the laning phase bit, and like the music comes up when there's a fight. Like it's actually really good. And like a lot of my friends was like, oh, I haven't heard it for like 3 years or 4 years. Like I turned it off ages ago. Like I don't even remember what it sounds like. I'm like, man, you should try it. Like it's good. It's like atmospheric. Like it gets me involved. I'm like, yeah, I love it. I'm a huge like I don't know. I'm a huge video game music person. I mean, I've talked about it multiple times, so I won't go on about it for too long. But yeah, I love that stuff so much. I really do.
That's
Right.
cool.
There's like unreleased tracks from Dota 2 as well. I ended up like downloading some of them, and, like listening to them randomly. There's like one, I can't remember what it's called. It's called like World Map or something like that. It was just like so good. But like, and especially like the concept of leitmotif, where you've got like there's like a main theme, and then it's like that theme is like brought back, but in like it's either like quiet or like just in the background or whatever. And I'm just like, oh man, that's the stuff that gives me chills, and it's when it's a good theme and it like gets brought back in later in like a really clever way, a really smart way, or it's just kind of like it's sort of almost like self-referential, right? Like references itself with the musical like theme or particular melody or whatever. It's so good. I wonder where this one was. I can't remember now. It's like a long time ago since I listened to this. Yeah, there was one called. It's on YouTube. It was called Dota 2 Soundtrack World Map. I think it was this one, like 11 years ago, and I think it was some old piece of music that hasn't been used for like forever. And it's just like the most inspirational piece of music. It's like so good, and it's got like bits of the Dota themes like sprinkled in it. It's like such clever piece of music. I love it. Love that stuff.
I like it.
Yep.
All right.
I think my voice is about to explode.
Yeah, I can hear
feel
the
it.
creaking.
It's like it's hurting.
Yeah, you got that like
I've
gravel
been
voice.
getting woken up in the middle of the night by the kiddos and just like working too much and like slowly getting sick. Classic. And I'm prone to lose my voice too, but fortunately I've recorded everything I need to record. This is the last thing we need to do, and then I'm on holiday next week, so I can just be silent for a week without having to do anything. Just come at a good time. This usually happens around the wipe, so like that's fortunately this time it's happened around a holiday, which is much better way.
That's cool.
Yeah. The only other thing I have to report on, and I keep forgetting, I was going to like talk about this on stream, but I keep forgetting because we're like busy doing stuff. So that I finally put my mind to it and finally learned some of the algorithms and can now solve a Rubik's Cube.
Oh.
That was I was a mini project. I found one in my house when we were just like moving stuff, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. Yeah. I've never done one. I'm gonna do it. And so I like spent a weekend like looking up a few algorithms that you need to like solve the thing, and went through it and finally like memorized it to the point at which like no matter what state it's in, I can get it finished. I'm not fast with it, but like I can do it without like referencing anything, which is cool. It's just a memory game. It's just you just have to remember like a bunch of sequences. It's like, okay, you do stage 1 and you use this thing and get it to the right place. And then stage 2. It's just like it's very like sequential.
Yeah.
Obviously, to like get better at this point, you'd need to like learn lots of other patterns that do different things in different situations and stuff.
That's cool.
Kind of like gone down a bit of a Rubik's Cube rabbit hole, like looking at the world record of someone finishing it in like 3 seconds and stuff. And it's just like, what the hell? It's crazy. There's one insane video on YouTube where a load of guys at MIT like hooked it up to a robot with like 6 like prongs. So it like scans the Rubik's Cube and it can solve it in like 0.3 of a second. And it's quite fun. It just goes.
Yeah.
It's just like finished. So you have to watch it at like 0.03 times speed or something to watch it go like.
That's crazy.
It's like really, it's quite cool. I was just like, oh, that's a cool thing. So I've been going down a bit of a Rubik's Cube rabbit hole recently. It's quite fun. But yeah, cool. Off topic and random. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I don't know when we'll probably have to record like, I don't even know. Maybe the weekend, maybe the Monday. I'm not sure yet. So we'll be on a little bit of a delay, probably, most likely. and obviously I'm not going to have done anything. So it depends on if anything big comes out while I'm away, as it usually does. You know, Nikita will announce 1.0. There'll be a surprise wipe in the middle of the time when I'm away on holiday. Yeah, it's just like it's just my luck. That's just how it goes. Like, oh, we are going to do some more. It's going to be right now. Thanks, Nikita. I always get these things come at the wrong time for me. But anyway, we will see.
We will see.
We will see.
I guess we'll figure it out what we're doing next week. Until then, thank you everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you then.
Catch you later.